Right Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, the Senate Leader, the Deputy Senate Leader, the Deputy Minority Leader, the Deputy Chief Whip, and our Chairman, Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources Upstream. The Attorney General of the Federation, their team, let me, on behalf of the Right Honorable Speaker, my brother and colleague, and distinguished senators present, welcome you to this very important and historic engagement between your office and the joint leadership here. I'm so delighted, really, that this meeting is taking place, because this goes further to show the kind of relationship that characterize the National Assembly, the 9th National Assembly, and the executive arm of government. This is for the benefit of Nigerians, the people we represent, and it's really very commendable. By way of reminder, there are three major functions of the legislature: the oversight, the representation, and legislation. We are now talking on legislation, and it's a major and fundamental pillar of what we do here. Your office is in charge of all the executive bills that will find their way to the National Assembly. And therefore, I take it very seriously that this is an effort by the executive arm of government to ensure that legislation processes that could sometimes start or emanate from the executive to the legislature, or vice versa, should be smooth, seamless, not rancorous, and therefore to ensure speedy passage and, of course, good implementation for good governance. I want to concur with my brother here, the Right Honorable Speaker, that when we process a bill, so much resources are put into it, so much efforts, so much commitment, and sometimes even emotional commitments are put into the processing of the bill, especially by those who would directly deal with it or who would be affected by it one way or the other. So we have to do everything and anything possible to ensure that the processes are such that the outcomes will justify the enormous resources that we put into the processing of the bills. The idea of setting up a committee on your side is a very good idea, a welcome idea, and I'm sure, just like the Honorable Speaker said, we'll do the same on this side. Normally, the Senate Leader, the House Leader are in charge of government bills, and I don't see any reason why we shouldn't have a small committee with Senate and House leaders and some few senators and members of the House. That will be on a rotatory basis, because it depends on what the bill is about. Those that will have some relevance will now be part-time members. Where they are needed, they come in. If it is something on petroleum resources, the upstream, the downstream, the gas, or local content will participate, and where it is going to be armed forces, something, our committees on armed forces participate, and so on. But the leaders remain the constant figures in this, and of course some consultants that will help us through. I want to take this opportunity to advise that when it is an executive bill that will emanate from you, exhaust all the opportunities for head of agencies that will be affected by the eventual passage of the bill into laws to participate. Let them put in their ideas before you finally round up with a draft that will engage, will be sent to people on this side to also look at. Because oftentimes, those head of agencies, after the National Assembly, you bring in the bills, the National Assembly would have done so much. Public hearings will be held. Some of these head of agencies will deliberately refuse to attend the public hearings. And then when the bill or bills are passed and are sent for the president to sign, then they will go around and campaign about the bill and say this is going to stop government from working and so on and so forth. So there is need. We at the political level, we mean good. We want to do everything to ensure optimum productivity. But those civil servants whom sometimes feel they will lose power or authority will just go and jeopardize the signing of the assent of Mr. President. And this is something that we need to address. Once we have public hearing, we'll make it mandatory for head of agencies that are supposed to participate or operate those kind of bills to attend. And if they don't attend, let them not go back to the president and start saying all manners of things, advising against the assent of Mr. President to the bills. Because, just like we've said, we put in a lot of efforts, a lot of resources. We do the same for the sake of the people we represent. But one individual, an MD or an executive secretary who feels he or she may lose out, maybe part of his mandate will be given to another agency or something, will go and sabotage everything. So we need to guard against that. I believe that this National Assembly is working very closely with the executive arm of government. We have seen very clear demonstration and we are all happy. In fact, Nigerians are happy. Majority of Nigerians, let me qualify it, that things are moving on well. And we intend to keep it so. But where we have to disagree, just like the Speaker said, let it not be that kind of disagreement that will cause unnecessary tension. If there is anything we identify that will cause us not to pass the bill, we'll raise the alarm, get our committee that will be, of course, constituted later to discuss with you and any agency that is going to be involved in this, so that the slight issues are sorted out. Eventually, we should have our bills assented to, whether they're executive bills or private members' bills. We need to work on this because I think the civil servants have caused a lot of unnecessary tension where they think they are losing some mandate. I feel we are supposed to start on a very clean slate. By our rules, we are not supposed to start just passing for third reading bills that were not concluded, work was not concluded on in the 8th National Assembly. Such bills will have to be represented, and this is important for us because we don't want a situation where an announcement will be made that a bill was not signed, the assent of Mr. President was withheld, because we have not passed any bill yet that will lead to that. So any bill that is hanging somewhere in on the side of the executive arm of government, that would have been passed in the last National Assembly. If you want that kind of bill to be worked on, you represent the bills to us and we'll work on them. And if there are disagreements with the bills that were passed that emanated from you, we can now kickstart our process of engagement immediately. That these bills will be brought back, but what are the issues? National Assembly, what don't you like in those bills, so that we are able to quickly deal with them. It doesn't matter what anybody will say. This relationship is productive so far, it's working, it's helping this country, and we intend to continue with it. But that's not to say that we are going to compromise on things that are our mandates. definitely we will continue to remain who we are, legislators, National Assembly, scrutiny, oversight, and all that the National Assembly is mandated to do. I'm so glad that what we have been preaching, that our relationship should be based on mutual respect and consultation, is what it is. This is a clear demonstration of the consultation we have been preaching, that let's not be working at cross purposes, as if we're working for different peoples and not the Nigerians that voted for the executive as well as the legislature. So we should continue with this consultation, and beyond bills, I think we need to extend the consultation to other spheres of engagements for us to achieve optimum performance. I believe that at the end of the day, we should be able to say that we have worked on bills that have become laws, and laws that will ensure and sustain good governance in this country. Today, for example, we have serious issues on revenues, generation and collection. Our task in the next few months, for example, will be how can we ensure that we generate, collect, and get revenues that will help us operate the 2020 appropriation bill to the benefit of Nigerians. And going forward, how can we ensure that we block all the leakages that we have? Because we generate revenues, but people, agencies, I think, that are in charge of the generation of revenues, many of them are capable. They're simply not paying these revenues to where they are supposed to pay them. So it's our responsibility together to see how we are going to ensure that any revenue generated for government is really remitted to the appropriate account, whether the Federation account or Consolidated Revenue Fund, because this is fundamental to us. In fact, that's why we suspended plenary to work on this budget thing. But working on the budget and passing it is another thing. Getting the budget funded and properly implemented is another thing. It's very critical as well. So we have to work together to ensure that we get things done for the benefit of our people. I want to thank you most sincerely for coming, and I want to encourage you that you are now one of our representatives in the Federal Executive Council, an honorary one because you are not in neither in the House nor in the Senate, but at least you have shown very clear demonstration of the kind of thing that we expect from the executive arm of government going forward, for us to also do our best to make things work for our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you.